you really don't think that it'll happen to you until it does. Someone that you know or that you care about, like, it happens, and it's really, really scary, and kind of seeing him have to go through that since he's been diagnosed has really changed my life.
I really matured through learning how valuable life is and how you have to, like, not take it for granted.
This is a tough question.
I did not want to cry.
I don't know what to say.
It's really interesting on a university campus because you get a lot of young people who are passionate about a cause, and a lot of people who might not have been affected by cancer but still want to come out because it's a really fun event. And I think that's why it's so successful at McMaster, because there's a lot of university students who are looking to make a difference in their young lives, even though they might not be affected by it.
Relay for Life is important for me because it's a chance to remember those that have lost their lives to cancer. It's kind of a chance to become friends with everyone who is here for the same reason. No one is here just to kind of be there.
I relay for multiple people. Actually, in around November of 2012, my cousin passed away from cancer. My best friend was diagnosed with cancer, and she was being treated for it throughout our entire high school experience. Seeing her kind of go through that was really life-changing for me, seeing what she had to do. She stuck through, she stayed in high school while she was being treated, which kind of really opened my eyes to what she was going through, what she had to go through.
The friends that I have had who I've seen like suffer, their families suffer from the cancer experience, I didn't want anybody else to, like, obviously I can't stop cancer, but I wanted to help prevent that feeling from, like, people having that experience.
I've always been, like, aware of cancer through family and friends ever since I was young, but it was the fall of 2010 in which cancer, like, became a huge part of my life. My father was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in the fall of 2010, and that's when cancer became more real for me.
When my mother got diagnosed with cancer, I was 16. Still a kid, you know, we're all in a teenage mentality, but that was when I had to start to grow up really quickly. Why so? How so? Is because my mother did not know how to speak English, same with my father as well. So I was of the two siblings, I was the older one, so I had more knowledge and capability to do things for my mother, like run errands and do government paperwork or take her to appointments. So that was when I started to, oh, you're not a kid anymore, here you go. This is what you're going to be set for the rest of your life. So that got me matured a lot. I don't know, it also showed me that my mother was a very strong woman, even though through the hardships she went through in the past before she got diagnosed. It showed me that she was resilient and very strong. So that's what it showed me through the whole process, and I'm strong because of her. So when she passed away.
I've seen 2 grandparents pass away, unfortunately, from this horrible disease, and I didn't really get to see it firsthand because as your grandparents, your parents kind of shelter that from you. But now that I was older, so this past January when my grandfather did pass away, I was able to visit him while he was very sick, and it was very heartwarming and scary at the same time to see the harsh realities of what actually happens when they're sick.
It was when my grandma was diagnosed the first time that it started to impact my life, and obviously I was a bit younger, not too young, still old enough to understand what was going on. She ended up beating it the first time, but then it came back, and it came back harder, and it was faster, and it just deteriorated her. My mom made a really big point of us not seeing her kind of in her final months just because she wanted us to remember my grandma for who she actually was. And that was kind of when cancer really started impacting my life and started changing my life, seeing that how awful it is, and when you get it bad, it's like you're not the same person anymore. That was kind of the beginning, and then it seems as though since my grandma, every year someone else in my family gets it. So my father got it. He survived. He actually had the good cancer, if you want to call cancer good in any way. But it's been really interesting. Like, seeing my grandma go through was a bit different. I didn't live with her, but then my father going through it and seeing how much time he had to take off work and how hard it was for him to not really be able to do anything and stay in the house, that was hard. And I think that was the hardest part of cancer for him, is it impacting his life so that he couldn't do what he usually does.
I was diagnosed with cancer in the summer of 2011. I was 15 back then, and I started losing weight at a fast pace, and we didn't know it was cancer until I went to the doctors. and they wanted to make sure I had the best care possible, so they booked an operation room a month after I was diagnosed. I found out I had cancer on my mom's birthday, so that was pretty surreal. My major surgery was on Halloween, so the whole community was, including the nurses, were very supportive, and they brought in lots of candy because it was Halloween, and they wanted to make sure I was included, and that's kind of fun. There were some complications. They had to cut through one of my vocal cord nerves. That's why it's kind of hard for me to talk right now, because I'm working with one vocal cord. After that, I went through radioactive iodine, and I went through 4 days of isolation. And the summer of 2012, I found out I was cancer-free. And every year we've been celebrating that in my friend's place, and we would have a pool party to celebrate it. I feel like every time I hear bad news now, it's not as bad as hearing you have cancer or your family has cancer. Every little thing is not as bad as it was.
You just look at the little things that used to make you upset or stressed, and it's kind of like it's not important in your life anymore. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna hurt you or make you upset in the future, so why stress about it? And I think you just learn a lot more lessons, and you kind of just learn to accept life as it is, and like notice and take impact of the little beautiful things that happen. And I think after she passed away, it was a good moment to kind of just like realize that what you have, and just to be thankful for everyone in your life and not to take anyone for granted anymore.
Relay for Life is a big event and important to recognize a whole bunch of different things other than just talking about cancer as the sad situation that it is. It brings light to what can be happy about cancer, and like the people who survive, and the money going towards the people after surgery and stuff like that.
Although it's a 12-hour event, it's such a fun and rewarding 12-hour event. My favorite part is definitely the luminary ceremony, and when the survivors do their victory lap. I cry every single year when this happens, and it's beautiful to just see what they have overcome.
When you do the walk pope, and is it called the walk pope?
Yeah, we'll say the walk pope.
Okay, cool. The walk around the trail.
Seeing everyone just stop and take notice of all the luminaries on the floor, and like some crying, but even complete strangers are there, like willing to give you a hug and to help you continue doing that one lap. I think it's extremely impactful and one of the most beautiful moments of Relay for Life.
It really hits home. I think it's very fortunate that I go to the school and to have such a tight-knit community where we could do that all together.
Seeing everyone come together as a community, it's great to see within a university. We have thousands upon thousands of students, and seeing everyone come together under a common cause in any way that they have been affected, whether it's been their friend, their family, not even directly, any way that they have been impacted by this disease, to come together and to honor people, to remember people. It just means a lot, seeing everyone who's been affected.
I got involved with Relay for Life for 3 years now. During those 6 years, my mother got chemo, so we went to the Henderson, or now it's Jarabinsky, up on the mountain. When we got there were times where my mom got a scarf or a hat or free cookies, free tea, or even a hi and a hug from these wonderful volunteers. And that's a great thing about this because they're volunteers. So they did this out of their goodness of their heart, and it's not that they're getting paid or anything. So that was really touching, and that's where I figured out if I had one charity to put all my effort and attention to, that'd be the Canadian Cancer Society. So,
as a stage 4 thyroid cancer survivor, I feel like it's my duty to help others in the community who have cancer and those who have family and friends who are going through it.
So it's important to remember that the fight against cancer doesn't stop when the clock runs out.
So much money has to go towards treating all of these different types of cancers. It's so much more than just one cure.
The money for Relay for Life isn't just going to cancer research, it's going to causes to help people like with rehabilitation and things like that, people who need walkers or help after their surgeries or after chemo or something like that.
Your participation in any way, shape, or form matters. If you do bottle drives, if you just donate yourself, there are all these different little things that add up, and they do make the difference. And if everybody does these things as a collective, we will collectively as a whole make a larger difference.
The connection bred by the fight against cancer is one of the strongest I've ever seen. I feel like this really mirrors the community and spirit that we have at MAC. So why not take that energy and put it towards a good cause?